Never been a better time to get more invested, I guess.
Yeah, this is kind of the perfect time to reignite that. And like I've heard it from several of my friends who have become LAP. Not that you were a LAPS player, but several people who, they enjoy the universe, they enjoy the game, but they've really stepped away. And I feel like this is probably the last like real good jumping on point between now and the end of Light and Dark. Is going to be this season, with it being 6 months to catch up.
Especially when with like all the seasonal and story elements kind of being, they stick around until the end of the year, right? Like like you can play through.
We have until February before things disappear.
Yeah, you can play through all the story elements of all 4 seasons until the Witch Queen comes out, which is good because I'm actually probably going to try to do that with my Warlock, because I still need to unlock stasis on my Warlock. I just haven't been.
Yeah, I haven't done it on my Warlock Titan. I just don't know if I have the. I don't know if I have the heart to do it on the Warlock again. So. But let's shift gears just a little bit. It's gonna be our last thing we talk about tonight. Yeah, we're gonna do a Dominic Toretto over here. We're
it's all about family.
It literally, it's all about family.
I can't believe I haven't seen that meme, by the way, of like what was it, Fast 8 or Fast 7, when Paul Walker drives one way and Dom drives the other. They're like Mara and Crow just drive separate ways. Where's that meme?
So bad.
Where's the meme, guys? Anyways, continue, Josh. Sorry.
Good old TWAB, though. So we're going to talk about subclass 3.0, specifically Void. Void is the first one that's getting this change to be more like how the stasis menu looks when you select your aspects and your fragments. And it will get this with the launch of the Witch Queen. But let's get straight to business. There was nothing announced in terms of a new subclass. And I remember immediately after, we were kind of speculating, well, maybe we just aren't getting it now and they'll reveal it down the line. Maybe they don't want to reveal too much early. It's not ready.
Yeah.
Let's put that to rest. There will be no new darkness subclass with the Witch Queen or in year 5.
Right, because like when they kind of did the teaser logo for Witch Queen, they had the kind of the circle things that kind of look like a subclass thing in it inside, and people were like, "Oh, are we finally getting like the poison subclass or whatever?" But we're not.
Are we getting something Thorn related? And it turned out to just be a really dope ass armor set.
Yeah, which is look, it's fine with me as a Titan, whose armor sets are fairly limited in how cool they look.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
The other thing is there will be, because this was noticed immediately. I remember, I think it was Nerd and I ran straight to Europa after finishing the initial mission to see if there was any new stasis quests. No new stasis aspects and fragments will arrive during Season of the Lost. We want to focus on different initiatives instead of adding to stasis. We feel like subclass build variety is in a good spot and was likely to benefit from tuning new stuff. To that end, we prioritize the balance patch and another patch you'll hear about debuting with the 30th anniversary. I said anniversary, and I didn't mean to do that.
It's fine. I knew what you meant. Because anniversary is not a real word. I just transferred it into what the real word was. It's fine.
Yeah. Some of the changes that are in the pipe, some of the stuff that's farther out than the Witch Queen's release. Reduction to how many one-shot kill abilities are... Okay, so, excuse me. In the coming weeks, you'll hear about changes we're making to how players regenerate ability energy and how those changes are going to affect PvE and PvP with the 30th anniversary release. A few examples of changes in the pipes. Reduction to how many one-shot kills are available in the Crucible, and a shifting super energy regeneration, so players are rewarded for participating in combat versus waiting out a timer. Later in Year 5, we hope to share more info on an initiative the team is discussing internally right now, making ammo generation a more deterministic and consistently paced experience across all activities. The game is evolving for the better. We hope we're being clear here. Destiny 2 is a living game, and as we head into the 5th year, we're looking at how we can evolve the sandbox you know and love to not only create new, but ones that haven't had much love since 2017. And that's what they say here. They says... the light subclasses really have not been touched for the most part, outside of a few tweaks here and there, and definitely not in terms of overall abilities since Forsaken.
Right.
It'll have been 3.5 years when Witch Queen comes out. It's good that they're tackling Void first. I definitely think Void needs the most help of any of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially as a Titan, like the Sentinel Shield is cool. It's a cool idea, right? But like some of the outside aspects of the Void stuff is just like, oh, okay, well this is neat. I guess I'll just throw my bubble up again, like the Titan Void stuff is just like kind of not.
I mean, they've basically made the Hunter supers useless. Like you can use Night Stalker in PvP. You can go use your Night Stalker blades, but if you're trying to use Tether, it kind of fucking sucks now.
Yeah,
rigs suck.
I mean, like even when we were raiding, like nobody was using Tether. The hunters weren't using Tether at all, and I'm just like, well,
and a lot of that's because of Divinity is just so much better at this point,
right?
Like,
well, between you using Divinity and like Golden Gun, right? Like with Celestial Nighthawk, like that's like, why would you ever switch? I mean, I know that's like your big complaint, but like, why would you ever switch off of that?
Right. And I that's why I like so many of the changes that are coming that they're going to list below. But they says the goals of Subclass 3.0 is to create an experience that gives players more customization akin to Destiny 1. Thank you, because I really like the subclass way better in Destiny 1 and how they looked.
We just talked about that like 3 weeks ago, like how much we missed the bubbles.
To us, Destiny is best when build crafting, best-in-class action, and power fantasy all meet to create gameplay experiences you can't get anywhere else. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this. So, they have 3 main goals here with Void 3.0. Preserve the strong existing power fantasies of Void. We want the damage type fun to use and give it a cohesive identity that can be felt throughout the subclass, while adding some sweet new toys that feel like a natural extension. Provide new and exciting build crafting possibilities through the combination of aspects and fragments. We want you to not only be able to craft similar playstyles to the old subclass using the new system, but also explore a bunch of new ways your Void abilities can work together with your armor and weapons, and set up a framework for systemic integration of the damage type into the rest of the game. So with Void 3.0, we're defining a set of core keywords that will be used by various perks and abilities within each Void subclass, similar to Slow, Freeze, and Shatter used by Stasis. Each class will specialize in a few of these verbs, but it will be possible to dabble in the rest by coordinating with your fire team or with certain combinations of abilities and fragments. Additionally, these verbs will appear in other places outside of the subclass screen: weapon perks, exotic armor, and mods from your seasonal artifact. And we intend to continue expanding that list as we move forward. We believe these systemic interactions between your abilities and your gear are at the core of the Destiny build crafting game. This game is going full RPG. Like, if you have no interest in build crafting, this is your getting off point. Like, you will still be able to enjoy the story and the seasonal activity, but when you go to do end game level stuff, you go to do nightfalls, you go to dungeons, raids, trials, comp. I would even say Iron Banner, Gambit.
I mean, anything end game that's not like, this is like, I know we kind of had some people reach out to us recently that said, hey, is this a good time to jump back on? But it's like, I understand that like people are excited for Destiny and the new content, but like they are going for the hardcores of the hardcore people who want to do the end game stuff, which is, part of the reason why I've kind of like reassessed how I want to approach the game or approach content in general. Right. And like this, I feel like people are getting excited for the wrong reasons, to be 100% honest with you, people who have reached out to us. And it's like, I get you're excited. I think you want to experience the story and stuff, which is great. But like, there's no way that you're going to even be close to comprehending what's coming, because I barely do. And I've kept up. I've been keeping up and hanging out with you for like 3 nights a week and like trying to just keep this stash of like scattered papers across the desk. It's like the sunny, always sunny meme where he's got like all the strings attached to the board and like, crazy looking. I'm just like, you can't keep it all straight. But yeah, this is if you are not into full RPG build mode, it's going to be rough.
You can still enjoy it, but it's going to be real rough going to try and do like a raid or a dungeon. I think it's going to get increasingly difficult to do this, especially if they're going to put this verbiage into mods and stuff. Now that there are two subclasses that'll be using this right off the bat, once they integrate all three. So by the third season of the Witch Queen, so this time next year, all three classes should be updated. Honestly,
yeah. And like, I don't want to discourage people from like trying out and playing the campaigns and stuff, but like, if you want to do anything end game related, like after you finish the campaign, your light levels leveled or whatever, like if you're not serious about it, then like it's not like, it's just gonna be, kind of a miserable experience trying to find people. I'm sorry, like it just sounds like that's what's happening. So
yeah. Without further ado, let's move into some terminology here, though.
Terminology.
A couple of these some of us are already familiar with. Specifically, suppression. There's 3 negative and 3 positive effects. So we're gonna kind of bust out our Destiny dictionary here. Suppression. Target is knocked out of any active abilities and cannot activate any abilities or movement modes as long as suppression persists. Afflicted enemy AI combatants cannot shoot their weapons. We've all been on the other end of suppression from a Titan at one point or another. It may not happen too often, but it definitely happens. And it's always a gigantic pain in the ass when it happens. Weaken. Target takes increased damage and has their movement slowed. Enemy AI combatants fire their weapons with decreased accuracy. And volatile. The target is afflicted with unstable void energy and will explode upon taking additional damage or on death. I have a feeling that those last two are going to be big PvE favorites for boss or mini boss encounters.
It almost seems like weaken and volatile would be more for like champions or. Yeah, I don't know.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
If the Hive end up getting Guardians for some reason,
yeah, right? Like, it's almost like you're giving us tools to specifically focus on that. And 3 positive effects you'll be applying to yourself and allies. Void Overshield. Protect a barrier of void light, which reduces damage taken from combatants. Invisibility. We're all familiar with that.
Well, hunters are.
I mean, I make other people invisible. And Devour. You feast on the energy of your foes. Kills restore you to full health, grant grenade energy, and extend Devour. These verbs should all be familiar to veteran players, but now exist in a new, broader systemic framework that will allow us to consistently spread their behaviors across the game. So here are some of the new abilities, and this is what has me most excited. Oh God, I'm so excited to talk about this first one, because they immediately jump into Night Stalker Hunter. I was just saying, I said it last night, I said it here, Tether is useless right now in its current form. It's been useless like all year, whether it's because of Breach and Clear or Divinity, and it's just like, if you don't have a Divinity, then yeah, sure, Tether's cool. Like, go ahead and use Tether. But it's not nearly as good as it used to be. Mobius Quiver. And this is just a sample of some of the things they're going to be changing. But Mobius Quiver. Fire 2 volleys of 3 void arrows in a cone which seek out enemies and spawn void anchors on impact. Shadow Shot makes tethered enemies volatile and deal increasing damage to tethered targets. One of the main usability pain points of the current iteration of Mobius Quiver is having to press the super input a bunch of times to fire each arrow individually, which is cumbersome, takes a lot of time, and often results in the player drifting somewhere they didn't intend to. Be off the side of a cliff as a totally hypothetical example. I cannot tell you how many times that's happened to me.
Totally hypothetical. Totally hypothetical. By firing multiple arrows at once, it should be a lot easier to blanket an area with traps in preparation for a fight or put burst damage on a boss. This is going to be an awesome DPS super. And I hope to God there is an exotic that boosts damage of Mobius Quiver going forward. Because, man,
if you can give us something that boosts that, I mean, hell, even Wish Eaters may honestly be the go-to here. I know they nerfed them, but if we can get a Bungie, if you're listening, Luke Smith, I know you tune in every week. Why don't you tell Joe and the boys to give us like a 30% damage buff on Star Eaters.
Do it.
And then one of the aspects for them will be the Stylish Executioner. Defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target grants invisibility and true sight. After performing a Stylish Execution, your next melee attack while invisible weakens enemies. A twist on the Middle Tree Night Stalker's current Flawless Execution perk. This aspect lets the Hunter specialize in defeating debuff, looping invisibility. That's going to be a big one, I feel, for Grandmasters.
Yeah.
And for dungeons. I can see this being a big one for people trying to solo dungeons as well.
Yeah.
I can see it being a big one.
Yeah.
But Corey, let's get to one we're both excited about. Johnny was really happy for us to bring this one up tonight.
Sentinel Titan.
One of the aspects you will be getting is called Overwatch. Cast a Void-empowered barricade to grant a Void Overshield to yourself and nearby allies. The empowered barricade slowly regenerates the Void Overshield of allies bunkering behind it. We want players to be able to lean into the Sentinel fantasy of being the frontline protector for your team, so Overwatch is a powerful tool for setting up prior to an encounter and providing a safe haven to fall back to when things get spicy. Imagine combining that, like if you pop your bubble and then you run up and throw the barricade up. So not only do people have weapons of light, but they also have a Void Overshield fighting a boss.
Mm-hmm. This would have been really helpful last night.
This would have been extremely helpful last night. I like that a lot. And then projectile melee shield toss. Hurl your shield towards an enemy. Shield can ricochet off enemies and serve, granting you a small chunk of Void Overshield for each enemy hit. We want to give Titans more options when it comes to projectile melee. Shield toss is a great choice for aggressively pushing forward into groups of enemies, softening them up and giving you extra staying power. You can really lean into that Captain America fantasy there.
Yeah, because that was like the big deal, right? When Destiny 2 first came out, it was like, oh my gosh, they're changing Void Titan. Oh my gosh, so you're getting a Captain America shield. And it was like, and like as much as I enjoyed it, like, you had to do a very specific tree to like get that.
I have the shield literally on my wall.
I know, and you had to like do a very specific thing just to throw it more than once, right? Like, and it just never felt that way to the point where like you always just ended up charging with it instead of tossing it because it was way more effective, and it never really felt like that Captain America fantasy that you always wanted. So this is really cool. I like this. I like this change a lot for me personally.
Yeah, no, I think this is awesome. If every class is getting changes that are on par with this, like getting cool new melee abilities, getting their supers reworked, like I gotta imagine Banner Shield is probably being looked at. I'm very excited for these changes, but of course it wouldn't be finishing out without talking about our favorite dress wearers, those wonderful warlocks. Let's dive into warlocks for just a second. Voidwalker Warlocks. Pocket Singularity as a projectile melee launches a tracking unstable ball of void energy that detonates when it nears an enemy, pushing targets away from the blast and making them volatile. Designed as an anti-dive tool and a way to push enemies out of cover. With careful placement, it's possible and incredibly satisfying to bop enemies up in the air and then pop their volatile with a well-placed headshot before they hit the ground. This next one, however, is my favorite thing of any of these changes. Over my super changes, over your melee, this is my favorite one. Child of the Old Gods aspect. Cast your Rift to summon a sentient black hole which hovers at your side waiting for a target. It will launch itself at enemies, then begin siphoning their energy and weakening them, refunding their life force back to you as either grenade and melee energy if you're using Healing Rift, or health if you are using Empowering Rift. Defeating enemies who are being siphoned by the child will refund Rift energy. Child of the Old Gods is a strong debuff tool that gives Voidwalkers an additional way to lock down an area while sustaining themselves. Holy shit.
This sounds like the defensive, almost like a defensive version of the stasis one where they could have the little turret, right? Like this sounds like instead of doing...
Yeah, this feels very similar both to the turret and to the Arc Soul.
Right.
on the Arc subclass. So if this is the change you're making to Void, I'm so excited to see the next iteration of Arc Soul.
Yeah.
Because naturally, some of our exotics are going to have to evolve with this change as well.
Right. Yeah.
This is just a preview, though. Then they present hypotheticals. Have you ever wanted to run Spectral Blades and Vanishing Step? Ward of Dawn and Controlled Demolition. Handheld Supernova with Devour. There's a lot of new possibilities, and as we get closer to the Witch Queen, we'll be back in future TWABs to talk more about the supers, fragments, and grenades you'll be mixing and matching. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is what light subclasses desperately have needed. It may have taken us a bit longer to get there, and I do suspect part of the reason it took so long is because we spent so much time fixing stasis. Had stasis launched and not had a whole lot of problems, I could have seen us getting one of these either this season or last. And I do think that was originally in the cards if they had been in office. It's pretty clear they were gearing up to do a new damage type by saying, well, we made the decision not to include one, to fix these instead. I like this. This is great. There's the addition of there's stasis affiliated armor and legendary weapons now. Whole nother type of armor you have to consider with mods. Much to my chagrin, I've been relying on the same set of fully masterworked armor for about 4 seasons now. I'm not too enthused that I need to masterwork a set of stasis armor just in case. But this is real. I think this is really exciting for people like me and like Johnny and Nerd. Like, we're really into build crafting. We get so excited whenever there's a new concept like Charged with Light or Warmind cells that we want to form our Guardian's entire identity around this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
this is really exciting. The raid raid armor with the mods. There are mods that are only active in these raids. Like, it encourages me to want to keep a set of raid armor on hand to help kill oracles quicker, or to give me some extra buffs when I'm running suppression or scanner in Deepstone. Like, there's just so many different mixing and matching possibilities beyond how good do you look. And now with Transmog, you can look however you want while wearing whatever piece of armor you want.
I like it. I like it.
Any final thoughts on Void 3.0?
No, I'm excited for this. I think the changes are great. I'm excited. The customization is coming back. I'm excited for I like this Voidwalker Warlock stuff makes me excited for the other subclasses and actually wanting to go through and actually full out go Warlock for a little bit maybe this season after I'm done kind of leveling my Titan up, right? Like I these changes are awesome. I wish, like, it's crazy to think that like we're this far into Destiny and it's finally, I feel like, getting to the point where they want it to be. Right. It just they're finally doing what I think they wanted it to be. And it took this long to get here, but we're here. It's cool. And I'm excited. I'm just really excited.
I am very excited. One quick little thing here. There's a couple little things in the TWAB I wanted to get to. There's a new Twitch Prime reward pack that is available now. You get Wardcliff Coil, you get the Diesel Punk ornament for it, you get an exotic sparrow, one of my favorite looking sparrows, frankly, from the early days, and a seasonal projection for your ghost, and that's the only way you'll be able to get that projection. That Wardcliff Coil ornament is one from Crimson Days. I think that's the last time it was available, so like a year and a half ago. So I'd encourage grabbing that. That's an ornament that doesn't come around too often. It's not a huge change to it. Basically, just makes it completely silver. But hey, an ornament's an ornament.
Still looks cool.
It still looks cool. There's a lot of issues that they're investigating. It's the beginning of the season, so of course there are. Encourage you to go read those if you have problems. There was a problem that they resolved pretty early in the week, which was Prophecy was not dropping the new weapons. John, Phil, and another friend of ours, Forrest, went through Prophecy, got straight armor drops. So because all of the Prophecy weapons, the former ones, such as Ikelos Shotgun and Death Adder especially, are out in the world now. They can drop from any old legendary engram.
Oh, they can?
They can.
Yes, thank you, God. Like, I mean, I still want to do the prophecy.
We still
dungeon,
got to do prophecy to get those trials weapons.
Yeah, I know, but I want the Ikelos shotgun because, like, I had it before cross save was a thing. Like, I was playing one character on PlayStation with my PlayStation friends and one character on Xbox with my Xbox friends, right? And I had the Ikelos shotgun on PlayStation, and I never got it on Xbox, and now I can just go out and maybe try to get it at some point.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. And then, just here at the end, there's one final note. We were all wondering who the voice actress was for Savathun, and it is Deborah Wilson. You may not be familiar with her name, but Deborah was the voice of Sarai in Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I just looked her up. Yeah.
Yep, good old Jedi Fallen Order. Did a lot with Fallout New Vegas. Was just in Ratchet and Clank. She's been in a few other things. Not a few, a lot of other things over the years. Mm-hmm. Chances are you have heard her, and that's why everyone's like, where do I know her from? Like, I know her voice.
Yeah.
So that's probably why you've heard over the years in a lot of video games. She's done a lot of VO in movies as well. So movies and TV. So that's awesome. Glad to have her on board as Savathun, and such a soothing voice for possibly the most evil character we've fought. Well, not possibly, absolutely the most evil character we've fought since Oryx.
Which makes her scarier when she sounds so calm and collected, right? Like,
oh, Guardian Mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. But yeah, man, I think we're just about done here. Damage has confirmed that this will be the last, as he puts it, the last big Chungus TWAB for a while. Time to sit back and let the game do the talking. We'll have your weekly the weekly news beats, but far smaller, and they have exciting things lined up. But it takes time to get them together. Very, very, very happy that we won't have any more of these for a while. This was a lot. We basically had to read through 3 of these things today alone, not counting everything that we got on Tuesday.
Right.
We've had several big weeks of them. I mean, it was so big today we had to cut out War Corner. So
yeah. I think we made it through pretty quick though. I mean, this is
well, we did. All things considered, we definitely did. But my mouth and throat are completely dry.
I know.
Right now.